Welcome to the MEHS podcast with Louis Perez and
Jason Brennan, and today we have the one and only Harvey Schuler. Um, Tell us, how's your day going so far?
Been pretty normal. I've only been here for like 45 minutes, to be honest. So nothing much has happened.
Louis, I'll let you start us off with some questions.
all right. So, Mr. Harvey, first off, we just want to ask you a little bit about your brand because you have your own brand of clothing. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
It's just streetwear company I created in middle school, really, and then it came to here now, and I just kept doing it. Really, you got to get some deeper questions on that one.
Well, what's the name of your brand? Where can we find you? If I want a shirt or a hat or something, where can I get it?
Oh, got you, man. Vicity clothing on Instagram. Vicity.storeandv.com on online anywhere. You want a sticker, bro? You can show the camera right here. Sticker and Instagram.
Yes, please, Mr. Schuler. Mr. Jason, while he's taking out the stickers to give to us, anything you want to ask him?
See that bitch right there?
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, Mr. Brennan.
Um, so you started this in middle school. Can you tell us any difficulties you had while starting this up, or if started as a hobby and it turned into like something bigger than you thought it would turn into?
I've always just liked clothes, and I think to answer your question about any difficulties, I think being too young when I was younger, I didn't really understand marketing and business and all that stuff. So the older I got, I was able to, I guess, maturity really, you're able to understand how people react to different like items and stuff like that. So, I mean, other than that, I haven't really had any difficulties except I don't know, like shipping. Took a long time for me to understand how to ship like items and stuff. But that's about it, really. I mean, I've always made my clothes on my own, so I've just like I've always known how to do it myself, really. So my parents have always been super supportive too, so they've always helped me.
How would you say you've grown in this business as time has gone since middle school, and what have you learned since then?
I've learned that if you make cool clothes, people are gonna buy them, and like I used to just make stuff that's super inexpensive, but I've learned that like people like more high quality stuff, and if it's high quality, they're willing to pay for it. So I've just learned that like anyone's willing to buy stuff if they like it enough. So I've just targeted the skateboarding community and streetwear community, and if my clothes are cool enough, they'll fucking buy them. And same with I've just used Instagram ads and online ads to spread and grow my company.
Would you say social media is a great way to help your brand get out there?
1000% social media is really everything for everyone's company right now, at least. Because back then you would really have to like hand out flyers and do it with like word of mouth. But nowadays you can really just anyone can make a company that's big. You just really have to find the right like the niche and what's that word called? Uh, God, I can't think of that word. Anyway, you basically just have to find the algorithm. You match the algorithm on TikTok or Instagram, post at certain times, and your post will get certain interactions and it'll definitely grow your company for sure. Social media is definitely my number one way of growing.
Would you say styles and new trends are changing all the time, different styles, people like to dress differently. Would you say it's kind of hard to keep up with trends, or do you just stick to what you're working on, and then it's just, people like it?
I think there's trends for different things, and for streetwear, there's always a base to it. So like base right now, and it's always been like baggier clothes, and so realistically, I just build off of that base. So if the trend's changing, you kind of just find that trend and then change it a little bit. Like my last drop, zip up hoodies, it's been a big thing for a while, so I just made it a dual zipper hoodie, so it's unique and people are willing to buy it. So I don't know, I don't think trends are changing fast enough to for me to struggle with that. I mean, I feel like I don't know, like I really just make what I like and it kind of just matches. And I get a lot of influence from skateboarding. So skateboarding doesn't really people just wear what they want to wear and like that kind of just transforms into streetwear. So I mean, realistically, I kind of just wear what I wear and like make what I like and people are liking it. So
What would you say is the longest you've worked on a piece of clothing that you've been working on? Like, how tell us, like, go into detail, like, the process of like finding inspiration to like get get like a get what do you say? Um. Oh no, I got it. What I got. Um. What where do you get your icons and your like logos and your designs? Like, what's the longest you spend like making one of your designs?
The longest I've ever spent making a design is probably right now on pants. I'm making baggy pants and getting them manufactured. Um, Realistically, the longest process is manufacturers. Like you have to give them every detail you want. You have to make a tech pack, which is like in detail outlines of every pant, every material, everything. That's the longest process because I've started to actually get manufacturers and high quality stuff made. Um, but how to answer the logo question? Realistically, I just find what I like, find fonts that I like, and I just go on Adobe Illustrator and I make my own stuff on my computer and just Photoshop all that stuff and just make stuff that is like appealing in a sense. So
So where does the inspiration for your designs come from? Is there any like do you look at other people's styles, other brands, or do you look at maybe something that you've seen in your day? Where does it come from?
I think it comes from the grunge aesthetic and like music I listen to, skateboarding, really skateboarding and streetwear. Honestly, I do get a lot of inspiration from other people that dress a certain way on Instagram and Pinterest, really. And I get a lot of design inspiration from Pinterest. But in reality, I have a lot of creativity towards that stuff. So I just, like I said, I really just make what I like, and I kind of just I make what I like mix it with what people like. So like it's just both best of both worlds, really.
Is there another clothing brand or another music artist or like band that inspire you to make these clothes like and these certain designs that you make?
To be honest, a lot of companies inspire me, but right now the clothing industry is saturated. Everyone wants the clothing brand, but that's whatever though. If you make your own stuff, you're bound to work. Anyway, um, I think Stussy and Half Evil are two big companies that I like. I like their aesthetic that they're building, and I'm trying to build a pretty similar aesthetic, but nothing exact because I don't want to copy them. But Stussy, I like how they are surf and skate and grunge wear and all that stuff. So realistically, Stussy and yeah, that's about it really.
So what influenced you to get into making your own business and marketing out your clothing?
My dad always did marketing through like for my grandpa's like drywall company, and I was always liked how you could really just like kind of talk and like show your I don't know how to explain it. Marketing just always attract me, and I always liked clothes, so I just kind of put them together, and I was like, I could create a clothing brand and learn how to market it. I think realistically, I just wanted to make clothes that I liked and that fit me better than any other brand, so I started doing that, and like I guess now that I'm older, really starting to do that. So I don't know. I don't think there was a time that really I don't think there was really anything that really made me want to do the clothing brand. I just kind of like clothes, and I was like, sure, I'll just make a clothing brand, and it kind of got to here. I never really stopped doing it. So
Mr. Brandon?
Um, would you say when you're working on these designs, do you say it takes up a lot of your personal time and that it like keeps you from like, sometimes you can't like go hang out with your friends or like go on like do other things, but instead you're like looking online, looking for inspiration, looking for new designs?
I think I don't think I've ever had to lose like my normal day to day life from that stuff. Honestly, I'm barely at school. I'm only here for two classes, so I just go home and use that time until you guys get out and hang out with you guys. But realistically, I've never really, cause like I don't know, I have self discipline to be honest, and I know like I have orders right now. I got to go home and print orders, so I can't really go home and hang out with friends, you know. So I feel like, but I also enjoy it though too. I also like making orders and printing orders, so I don't really think I'm losing anything. And I mean, I get it done in within a day. So I mean, realistic, I just go out hang out the next day. You know what I mean? So it's nothing. I've never really lost any like hangout time really. I mean, yeah, I'm really never that busy, and everyone always understands it. Like, say I have to like go home and print orders, they're always okay. All right, everyone understands it. So
Um, What would you say is you started this when you were in middle school. Um would you say people people from school inspired you, or would you say they'll try to like it's not gonna work out, or it's just a waste of time?
Honestly, surprisingly, I've never really been told it's a waste of time. Most teachers in middle school supported it. Teachers nowadays support it. Honestly, but I don't really. I've never been inspired by anyone fashion wise here because realistically, no one is in that same fashion niche as I am. I mean, it is bigger now, but like in middle school, nah, not really. And in middle school, it was completely different for me. I wasn't really into streetwear. I was into like mountain biking and stuff like that. So my brand was based around that. But nowadays, I don't really get inspired by anyone because I only really get inspiration from Instagram and Pinterest and all that stuff that people that dress how I actually want to be dressing. Because people here, I mean, I feel like we're too far out here for anyone to really understand. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, yeah. No, not really. I don't really get inspiration from anyone in school, and I've never been hated on. Realistically, never. Like that only really happens online, and you just ignore them. So yeah, I've never. Yeah, teachers surprisingly have always been super supportive, which is cool.
Do you hope to pursue this in the future and maybe you use this as a occupation, or what do you want to do when you're out of high school?
Obviously, I mean, my plan is to just keep putting money into ads right now because it's working and I'm making a good profit right now. So honestly, if I can make it big enough to where I can make a full time income, I would obviously stick to this. But after high school, I'm planning to move up to Oregon with my grandparents to help them out for a while, and just keep on that grind with this company thing. Really, I mean, if I'm able to make it big enough and like have a every time I drop a piece of item, I can make an income off of it. I don't know why I would stop realistically. But if that doesn't work, I can. There's so many job opportunities. But and even if it doesn't work, I feel like I have no reason to stop. So even if I get into like say construction or something, I'd still probably do that on the side because I think it's like since I've always done it since middle school, I've really never. I only had one job other than my brand, and I just it just goes to show I really liked my own schedule a lot better. So after seeing that I can have my own schedule with my own brand and I can make more money than someone doing construction, and I can literally just sit in my room and make designs and sell clothing. I feel like that's a lot more enjoyable to me. So I probably just realistically my goal is to turn that into a full time income.
How successful has the Vicity clothing brand been so far since middle school up until now?
Realistically, in middle school, like I said, I wasn't really mature enough and like I didn't really understand marketing and how it worked back then. So and I think I've only really seen exponential growth since junior year. Really, I mean, obviously I've had it from middle school till junior year, but I kind of died out doing anything with it from like freshman to junior year. And the junior year, it was very slow, but I was like, I kind of like doing this clothing stuff again. And then I started doing it, and then this year is where it really started to go up like exponentially. Because I've understood how to do ads and stuff and what really works in the clothing industry. So I just right now for sure is when I've seen the most profit and the most growth on Instagram and TikTok and all stuff.
Um, per se, if Vicity were to blow up like massively, would you plan on taking on any classes about like business classes? Like if you were to blow up to like make your own like store or anything, would you be against taking those classes, or would you just like do your own thing?
My parents and all my family members, every time I tell them, well, they all know I have a clothing company, so they're always like, "Why don't you go to school for business for a few months and learn some stuff like that?" But honestly, if like you said, if it blew up, I don't feel like I have a need to do that because it already blew up and I already have the knowledge about business. I mean, obviously you can learn more, but I feel like I already know, and there's so much you can learn through social media without having to pay that tuition and all that stuff. And I mean, yeah, I don't think I would ever go to college if it blew up. And I've thought about going to college, but I don't know, school is not my thing. Like I've always passed, but it's just I don't have any enjoyment being here.
So, what are some of your other outside hobbies besides, your business? Do you do mountain biking still? Do you go fishing? You like camping? What do you do, Mr. Harvey?
Of course, I like hanging out with my friends. Obviously, that's probably one of my favorite things to do. And skateboarding, wakeboarding, surfing, and snowboarding when I get the chance to, because It doesn't snow that often, but um, I do like camping. That's pretty fun. But nah, really, I just skateboard and surf. And realistically, right now, I'm just go home and just grind. Really, I like. Right now, I'm definitely on on the up right now, so I'm trying to keep that incline right now. So yeah, I haven't really been skateboarding right now, but like my hobbies wise is surfing and skateboarding are the ones that I do the most. So yeah.
Would you have you gotten any like personal like um say you go skating to a skate park? Have you gotten anyone coming up to you and be like, "Oh, I've seen your clothing and like I think it's really cool and stuff like that."
Yeah, I've had a few people that I've like mutual friends, but I've never had like actually. I mean, I've known people through social media that have come up to me and been like, they've known my name and they're like, "Oh, you own that clothing company and stuff like that." But nothing like some random dude's never done that. But like mutual people that know I know someone through someone else. Um, but I've definitely to to put that question in a different direction. I've this summer I skateboarded a lot and I met so many people through skateboarding and that grew my brand just through like talking to people and like marketing myself, just talking to people, like becoming friends with people, and then just like telling them about my brand and giving them stickers, and then they buy something. It's yeah, that's about it really. I mean, I've never had some random dude like walking across the street and like see me because I mean I don't really show my face. I mean I show my face on my brand, but it's not like my name and stuff isn't really just that's not my brand's about, you know. So yeah, no, not really.
Do you do any sports or do you want to do sports? Are there any sports that pique your interest?
I played baseball sophomore year. Was that sophomore year? I think it was. Damn, that shit flew by. Anyway, um, honestly, I'm not a big sports person. I don't know. I like I like having my free time. I don't really like going to practices and stuff. And I don't know. I feel like dressing in a group of people with all the same uniform. It's just not my thing, realistically. I like after seeing skateboarding, you can really dress how you want, do what you want, whenever you want. I don't know. I like having my own schedule, like I said. So sports not my thing. I think it's a really cool thing. Like football, that shit's cool as fuck. Like NFL, that's cool as shit. Like that's cool. But honestly, I don't really. It's not definitely not my definitely not my sport.
Um, if when Vicity it's growing every day, um do you plan on having like a do you plan on having any like sponsoring? Like have you ever thought about like sponsoring another thing or like I don't know how that really works, but like have you ever thought about putting into consideration any of that?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, when I'm able to have the the money and like when I'm able to afford sponsor kids and like have a whole skate team, I'd for sure do that. Like have like a group of 10 kids and just travel with them and video them and like just build their name while I'm building my name. Same with like Stussy and obviously you guys know who Vans is. They have a whole skate team that they give in free stuff to and stuff. So I want to do that obviously because obviously I've skateboarded. Obviously I wanted to be sponsored before, and if I'm able to sponsor some kid and give him free clothes, why wouldn't I? If I'm able to afford it, sure, because it grows me and it grows him at the same time. So yeah, I'll for sure once I'm able to have the once I'm able to afford to sponsor kids fully, I would for sure do it. Yeah.
Well, Mr. Schuler, let's ask you a little bit. If you could pursue skateboarding as a professional career, like and get into X Games or maybe Nitro Circus or something like that, would that be something you would do? Do you find yourself qualified for that? Can you do like crazy stuff like that?
Honestly, growing up out here, I was never exposed to skate parks consistently. So, I mean, I was never able to really improve my skills. Honestly, I don't think I'd ever make it to X Games or all that stuff because I just don't have the like, I don't know. I'm not really interested in going to that anymore. I was when I was little, but right now, just like, because I don't know. That's not my career path realistically because I don't really focus on skateboarding to that extent, to be honest. So,
Um I know you talked about I know I've heard you say a lot like manifestation. Would you say tell us how that has affected you and like in good ways to like pursue your clothing brand goals?
I do believe in manifestation to a certain extent. I think writing it down and like truly believing in your own head that you could do certain things is just like changes your own mindset in itself. So like, say you told yourself, I don't know, you're gonna go UFC, right? And if you kept telling yourself that over and over again to where it's to the point where you don't believe anything else other than that, I think it's bound to happen because that in your mind that's the only path that you have. So I feel like if you just believe so far into your own mind that it just kind of happens in my mind. I think manifestation is for sure realistic. And I don't think it's like on a spiritual realm. I think it's just on like your own mental realm of like if you if you really believe something and you really believe that you can do something, it's definitely possible. So yeah.
Mr. Harvey, has there been anything personally that you've manifested into your life that's had happened for the greater good for you or your business?
I think I've met my driver's license, man. Like an hour before I got my driver's license, I was driving with my mom, and I was driving like an idiot. I was so nervous, and then but like I was manifesting, and I didn't believe I wasn't gonna get it that day because I manifested for like a past month. I was like, part of me I didn't believe that I wasn't gonna get it to be honest. And when I was at I was like driving with my mom, and she was helping me drive, and I was like I pulled up to a curb, I hit the curb, I was all nervous. I was super nervous. But then as soon as I got in the instructor's car, I drove perfectly fine. And I don't know why, but the nerves just went away. That's one thing that I've really seen as manifestation. I've also manifested like um followers on Instagram and stuff. That makes sense. Like I've through ads, obviously if you do ads, it attracts people to your account. And I've manifested like by next month I'll have this certain amount of followers, and I've definitely have had that. Um but and selling out clothing items, I've definitely manifested that, but nothing too extreme realistically, because I haven't like had anything too extreme to manifest really. So soon to come though, for real.
Mr. Brennan, is there any more?
I don't have much more to say really.
Let's talk a little bit about your school career. How's school going for you? You doing all right in school? Is it setting you up for success, you think?
I think, well, to start with me, I mean, I've never failed in high school, thankfully. I've definitely just figured figured it out really the whole time. I mean, I'm school's definitely not my enjoy. I don't enjoy being here to be honest. Obviously, I like being with my friends, but I don't enjoy school at all. But I do think school, you do need school to a certain extent. I think you should learn the basics, but to be in, I don't know, history class, not history class, English class, and learn some stuff that I just don't will never use. Same with math, half that stuff I'll just never use. So I don't know. I think you should learn the basics, and then they should let you go off onto your own thing and learn what you want to learn. Um, but honestly, I've never failed, so I can't really complain too much, and it's been super easy to be honest. I've just kind of, I kind of just make my way through it really. So I've never failed, so it's been super simple.
Would you say do you believe school sets you up for your passions or in every day-to-day job like another worker?
What do you mean passion? Like sets you like school sets you up for something you want to do?
Like, does school set you up to like becoming, UFC or like, clothing brands? Do you think they send you that way, or do you think they send you like work a 9 to 5, or like go to school, get like certain degrees, and then work for the rest of your life?
I think the school system, our school system compared to other countries is just terrible to be honest. And I feel like we're just honestly, like you said, set up to end up in a 9 to 5. They send you here for what? How long were you in school for? A whole life, 12 years or something? Stupid long. And then they want you to go to school for 5 to 8 years in college just to find a job that realistically you might not like. So I don't know. I feel like school definitely just sets you up for failure, and but for failure as in creativity wise failure, but not money wise. Because I feel like you could be a millionaire but not be happy. So if I was a millionaire, but I was doing like I don't know tech, like computer tech, I would hate that shit. To be honest, hate that stuff. Sorry. Anyway, but if I was like somewhat if I was able to make a living off of my clothing brand, I would be way happier than making a million off of tech. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. They definitely in my eyes they definitely set you up for failure because for the kids that are seniors now and they don't know what they want to do with their lives, they're just gonna graduate and go live with their mom until they're 25 and not ever find anything. I think school should give you ideas. That's why I think the senior project's a good idea, but they're not doing it correctly, to be honest. I feel like they don't give you any creativity, like they don't start you in any creativity path because I feel like everyone has a purpose, and they're not like letting us find it realistically. They're shoving us into classes for 2 hours each and just teaching us the basic necessities really, and most of them are not necessities. So
Yes, just real quick, the school system does set you up for failure. This is a true thing. Look up the Rockefellers. They started the school system, and there's this document that they wrote. It's called the Rockefeller something. I can't remember. It's a real document, and it tells you, it explains the whole school system, and explains, what what they're all about. Anyways, Mr. Brennan, any more you want to ask, or how you feeling?
I feel like this is a good episode. Um, I'd like to thank Harvey for being on the podcast. Anything from you, Louis?
No, just thank you very much, Mr. Schuler. We appreciate you. We're glad that we were able to talk a little bit about you, your brand, and thank you for the stickers that you gave us. We're glad that you promoted your brand a little bit. Mr. Brennan, you want to close us out?
This is Jason Brennan with the MHS podcast, and I'm here with
Louis Perez, and we had Harvey Schuler. Thank you very much, Mr. Schuler.